Hello everyone, Fat Jimmy coming at you with another progress video. I will have a clip of me doing some Wilderness Slayer on in the background. Apologies for the bungled clips. I'm still learning the method, so I still have a lot of efficiencies to get down and still have a lot to work on here, but I'll play that in the background and some clips for the latest grinds that I've completed, being construction at Piscarillas Cranes, herb lore at Herb Tote, and 99 wood cutting and 99 hunter at Ironwoods and Master Rumors, respectively. So since my last video, my goal was to just finish up all those grinds that would allow me to drop what was in my inventory, including herbs and the plank sack and everything that was in my looting bag, some miscellaneous supplies that I needed to process to get the experience. So I could have a totally clean and empty inventory for Wilderness Slayer, and I did that. The first grind I did was 99 construction at Piscarel's Cranes. My method was a little bit different than most. I chopped oak logs next to the East Varick sawmill and made them into planks and took them over to Piscarillas to repair the cranes there by teleporting to Deep Fin Point and taking the charter. So the oak logs are significantly slower than having Kandarin headgear on and chopping normal trees to get double normal logs from normal trees. But I was locked out of Kandarin headgear for now because I kept on fucking up the easy diary for Kandarin headgear. You have to kill 4 level 34 elementals, and goddamn, those level 34 elementals have hands. I killed 3 of them the one time that I got a recoil drop from magpies, and then couldn't get the poison proc to get the fourth because you get 3 recoils from magpie implings, and each recoil gives you 40 HP of damage, but then each elemental has about 40 HP, so you got to figure out how to kill the fourth one. And I ran out of poison dynamite and I was pissed, so I was like, fuck this, I'll just do oaks, which got me about 65,000 experience per hour instead of 90,000. But oaks was super chill. Instead of using tick manipulation to chop the trees down. You just click on an oak tree and it'll chop, I think, like 12 to 16 oak logs, which is super chill, much more laid back than working hard to tick manip every single uh, normal tree to get double logs. So it was super easy and super chill, and I got slower experience, but I got it done. My biggest quality of life improvement on this grind was binding my mouse side keys to World Hop. I think that finding ways to optimize your setup early in the grind is so important for enjoying your grind. Um, One of my biggest um, quality of life improvements, besides key bindings on the side of your mouse, is using key bindings on your mouse wheel or using number keys to click. But for this grind, um, the mouse side keys made hopping so much easier. So I could just hop super quickly, super easily on my 2 alts and Fat Jimmy, which made the grind super manageable, super chill. And I really enjoyed this method. It will be the only method for Ultimate Ironman from here out because they nerfed the Berg de Rot shop that was shared between Ironmen and mains, which obviously is the right thing to do. That was just clearly a bug that normies were allowed to transfer over supplies to their Ironmen. Um, no hate to the people that did that, but definitely a bug. So, as with everything for RuneScape, abuse early and abuse often. If you didn't get that method in too fucking late, now you got to do my method where you got to work a lot harder and get slower experience. So got 99 construction Piscarilis cranes. As soon as I got 99 construction, I dropped my plank sack because I'm just trying to clear out my inventory. It feels really good to clear out your inventory, and I didn't drop it as soon as I hit 99. I actually used it to get the hull upgrade on my sloop, where you need to get like 500 Camp 4 planks. I did a Camp 4 hull onto my sloop so it could have the max speed until Rosewood. So I did that before dropping it, but essentially right after that I dropped it. My next grind was mastering mixology with all the herbs that I had farmed. I really liked mastering mixology because of the method that I used. Uh, in my mind, since I'm a snowflake, I don't care about drinking potions like prayer pots, attack potions, strength potions are totally useless to me because all I do is skill. I'm not fighting monsters. So for me, every single herb, except maybe toad flax, I could turn into Ceradomin brews with would be more experience in mastering mixology. But except for toad flasks, every single herb gets a ton more experience at mastering mixology. So in my mind, I don't mind if I speed up mastering mixology a little bit at the cost of wasting my herbs a little bit. So the method that I did was to make every single potion first off. So you make every single combination potion and make one of each at each of the machines, and then on your top row you put the potions that you don't mind wasting relative to the others. So if, for example, I had the most lye paste, second most aga paste, and was short mox paste, on my top row I would put a double lye, single aga potion. And then when I completed my inventory, I would hit the belt as many times until I ran out of um, my topmost row of potions. And so sometimes you can get through your whole inventory or almost your whole inventory without wasting a single potion. All of them met the like requirements, the all of them were asked for. But, of course, sometimes you do waste several of the potions on your top row. And so I did a little bit of math, and I think you waste approximately 20% more of the double herb that you put at the top and 10% more of the single herb that you put at the top. But the trade-off is you get much faster XP rates. I think I could match or beat whatever the highest rates are for mastering mixology once I get to 99. Um, and for me, it just makes it so much easier in terms of not having to think as much when you do the method. You just make the potions and click the belt, and that's it. You don't have to read anything. You don't have, you still do the gout weed into the master mix-a-lot potions, but your brain is basically turned off just processing potions as quickly as you can. So I really liked that method. And for my snowflake build, I don't mind wasting a little bit of herbs if it means just getting through them faster and using more of my herbs at mixology instead of, making aga or lye potions. Um, Aga or lye herbs into potions is something that I could do. I could, make fishing potions with my Avanto, um, make strength potions with my Quarm, or, whatever. But I think honestly, I get faster rates doing mixology, and the slight waste in experience is made up by the next best alternative being potions, that I think I probably still get better experience rates overall at mixology and faster. So I actually really liked mixology, and at the end you turn in all your points for a bunch of the super drink thingies that you can sell on the G on your alt for 10 million each. That was super helpful for my Slayer alts at the end, using all my mastering mixology points for money for my alts because I needed a lot of money to set up my Slayer alts. Um, the next big grind was a skilling competition that we did for District 3. I ended up getting 99 Hunter and 99 Woodcut, or like 95% of the way to 99 Hunter and Woodcut. I finished up a few days later. It was super fun. For Hunter, I did Master Rumors. I was getting like 160,000 experience per hour, which, like, if I went back today with my 99 construction house where I have a stamina pool, I could easily increase my master rumor rate from 160,000 experience per hour to probably 200. But that's kind of the name of the game for this build, is working super hard to get the best skilling rates. Uh, you know, getting a dragon pickaxe, for example, would take 100 hours to get, or a dragon axe would take a similar amount of time from winter tote. But at the end, you can get comparable skilling rates for almost every single skill on this build compared to uh, non-restricted Ultimate Iron Man. That's not true for fishing or agility, but almost every other skill in the end game, I can eventually get comparable skilling rates, which I appreciate. You know, you got to really work hard to get there, but you can get there eventually. One thing that happened during this was actually my hunter skilling went so hard that I made a guy quit the clan. Um, I logged in at 6 a.m. on like Wednesday or something, and one of the guys on the other teams, it was a four-person team competition for three skills. And at 6 a.m., he said, "Oh, Jimmy's back on after 8 hours. Like, does this guy even sleep?" Because I had just woken up and I wanted to open up some hunter loot sacks before my day started because I like to stay in bed until my kid gets me up. Because if he sees me out of bed, I think that he's going to start to wander around the house before wake up time. So I stay in bed. Um, and he was clearly like very upset that everyone was playing so much for this competition because everyone was pushing themselves, playing a lot. You know, not crazy numbers, but for him, he, I guess, is very competitive, but also bad at the game and unwilling to push. So it's a bad combination to be bad at the game and also super competitive about it because he was like very rustled. His jimmies were so rustled over my 4.5 EHP 6 hours. Like, if you're going to complain about a 1 million hunter day, you should probably get the fuck out of this clan. So he left without anyone saying anything to him. He was just so pissed that everyone was going so hard for a competition. So good riddance to him. And it's a little upsetting that he was so rustled in my direction at 6 a.m. when I was just trying to open my hunter loot sacks. But fuck him. Some other miscellaneous stuff that happened was I did some more of the poison dynamite questing. I still have a lot more to do, and I'm just kind of saving these for when I feel like it. But I did the Twilight's Promise to unlock the Quetzal transport system. Um, that was super helpful for my rumors. And I actually have more to do. This weekend, I'll probably kill the Sulfur Nagua and the Ice Weekend for access to Cam Torum and Ice Gloves, respectively, because I finished up my Slayer goal for the week, so I got some time to chill and do some questing this weekend. Now, as you can see on your screen, I'm here doing Slayer. This method is completely based off of the JCW level 3 Slayer method. If you are not sure what that is, I can send you a link because his video explains it in much better detail than I will. But essentially, you hit the monster simultaneous to your alt. And so when the last hit comes in, you are counted as hitting for the last hit, even though you hit a 0 and your alt hit the damage. And so you get half experience for every monster that you kill. And I have two alts, two damage alts, one on the top right corner, one on the top left, and then a scouting alt on the bottom right corner. And then Fat Jimmy is up on the top left. So the scouting alt, I guess I could start with, is so helpful and honestly essential. The If I am PK'd, I lose at a minimum 200,000 GP and at most 400,000 GP if I like just started. That's based on how much ether I have charged up in my accursed scepter. It's not that much GP, but the time waste of having to go re-gear and come back uh, would be really prohibitively time wasting. So the alt that's scouting is probably more important even than the second damage dealing alt. I would add a scout alt before I added a second damage dealing alt. Um, and the first damage dealing alt on the top right for most of the monsters, I kind of treat that as my last hit alt that I sync up first with Fat Jimmy, and then the bottom left, I treat that as kind of additional damage that I add on after Fat Jimmy is synced up with alt number one. Um, and then I also use the bottom left to for black demons and for mammoths, I'll use the second alt to hit all the monsters in the area to get them aggroed to me. Um, the method is kind of difficult. I mean, you just have to have your timing absolutely perfect. And if it's not perfect, you die and have to re-gear, which results in a very annoying and difficult learning curve because, you know, every time you mess up, you have to come back. And when you come back, you have to get the monsters de-aggroed again before you can really get into it. So every time you die, you're not losing 10 minutes, but for 10 to 15 minutes, you're much slower than your max speed. So it's a pretty punishing learning curve. But now that I've gotten it, very, it's not high actions per minute. It's just precise actions, which I appreciate. You can kind of lay back on some of the tasks, not all of them. For example, black demons, I can show a clip here. Black demons benefit a lot from sweating them a little bit harder because they have such high health. They have 200 health, where I think the next highest is like bandits have 160 and hellhounds 150. But um, black demons, you can extend the tasks. So you get 220 black demons that you want to plow through as quickly as possible. And so the big learning curve that I'm working on right now with black demons is trying to limit the over damage that I do beyond killing them. If you have both alts hitting them when they're on 10 HP, then that's potentially 80 damage that you could have done on that last hit that's only maxing out at 10 damage because that demon is only on 10 HP. So the black demons I'm definitely working on trying to improve my method. Some of the other monsters like Anku, Black Knights, um, Greater Demons, even Hellhounds, I'm just hitting them with the alt number one in the top right, getting Fat Jimmy on, then getting the second alt on them because that's pretty chill. It's not hard to do, and you can get in a rhythm much more easily. than having to think about like multiple things at once. Um, it allows you to take a complicated task and just kind of turn it into step by step by step. So you just hit it with the first alt, hit it with Fat Jimmy, hit it with the second alt, and then you do that over and over and over, which gets you into a rhythm better, which decreases mistakes and means you die less. I'm still dying every once in a while, not very often, but um, yeah, there's definitely a big learning curve. I'm trying to do 250,000 experience per week while I'm motivated. Um, Probably getting like 15K XP per hour. I can definitely improve that by a lot with some simple um, improvements to how I'm doing things, like using um, just like re-gearing faster and during the de-aggro period, hitting them more reliably. Sometimes I get lazy and just want to sit next to the monsters to get my de-aggro off. I can definitely get higher. I probably get like 18,000 experience per hour if I'm like really on top of my game. So that'll be my goal down the line, um, is to get closer to 18,000 experience per hour average compared to the 15 or so that I'm getting right now. Um, but it's a tough method. It's fun because as a skiller, like I don't deal damage to monsters, but here's my opportunity to hit them for 45s and 46s and 47s, which is fun to see and it's fun to do. But it hasn't become easy yet. I can play it with my right hand or my left hand, which I like to do just so I can sit. I can move in how I sit and how, it improves my longevity. But yeah, still a lot to go. Um, I think that'll be good for right now. Um, Next video, maybe I can talk more about like some of the philosophical stuff that I'm thinking about. But we're already at 20 minutes, and that was all the skilling updates. Um, so let me know if there's anything you want to see, especially for like Wilderness Slayer. I know a lot of level threes who are putting off doing it, which in my opinion is stupid. Everything in the wilderness is subject to change, more unlike any other section of the game. They could totally delete Wilderness Slayer next week and you wouldn't be able to say anything about it. I don't think they will, but unlike any spot in the entire game, you have no guarantees in the wilderness, and I don't think that sailing could be any faster than 15 to 20,000 Slayer experience per hour for level threes. It's honestly not even that bad experience compared to um, like normie Slayer. Like I'm getting I got pretty good EHP up to level 65 because the rate was like 7K per hour. Um, and then it goes between like 20 to 40 to 50 XP per hour per efficient hour for normie UIMs. So it's not even that slow. And I don't know, man. It might not be here tomorrow. So get your ass in the wilderness and start doing Slayer. So let me know if I can help you with that. Um, These are a couple screenshots summarizing my account status at the moment. Since the last video, I gained 100 total levels and 350 EHP, which is pacing for a 2.1K annual EHP gain if you put it over a year. I think that I just did a lot of high EHP methods. A lot of it was herb lore, but I did grow all of the herbs that I processed within that 2 month period because I wiped in December, shortly after I recorded the last video. So a big couple months, but having a lot of fun. This is a great game and love playing with all you guys. So later.